When you come out of uni as a graduate with like 10 grand plus worth of debt, no potential for a job, no like certain potential for a job, and no house, and do you know what I mean? Like, well, where is the alternative? Surely you have to have some sort of alternative.
For me, off-grid living is trying to kind of alleviate our dependency on being, plugged into the sort of larger scale, like energy networks, basically. So like the electrical grid.
Probably half to do with a financial thing of renting accommodation and paying someone and just watching your money drip down the drain, and the other half was to do with being mobile.
First and foremost, man, it's the main thing wrong with it is it's very dear. Like, it's well expensive. Like, if you want to have like a very nice room and like a really nice place in Brighton specifically, you're going to pay a lot of money for it.
Off-grid living really is about bringing consciousness to the way that you consume.
So we're striving for sort of autonomy in a number of different ways. Like, we've achieved it with our energy, so we get all our electricity from solar panels and the wind turbine. So like we've removed ourselves from the sort of corporate model of energy production.
In terms of like, when I first moved into a house in Brighton, the estate agents were not a particularly likeable bunch. Like they offered like no support, there was no maintenance, like the quality of the place was fucking awful. Like all of those things have been avoided with this, and it's fucking mine. Like,
it's really really tough, like from a financial sense, to pay my rent, get food, like pay my bills, and still have any money at all to like enjoy myself.
It's not an easy thing, like living in a vehicle. If you're accustomed to living in a house and coming home and turning on your heaters and having a piping hot bath or a shower whenever you want to, I think living in a van's going to rock your world a little bit and make it very hard. But I think that these things aren't an entitlement.
I will show you where I'm going to be staying for the winter. So this is my little cabin, which a friend of mine made actually. And she kind of just made, I think she spent about, 50 quid on it altogether. Yeah, so she got loads of it, most of it's just scrap basically. This stuff is like a mineral wool insulation that's packed into the walls, and then fabric pulled over that. And a little wood burning stove which keeps it all nice and warm for me.
When you enter into a van space, you enter an experimental space. Like everything that you thought no longer exists, and you're just like, energy becomes something precious. Like, so how much water we carry, where we can get the water from, how we use our water. Like, you become very conscious of what you're doing, so you sort of like, you reuse things, and if I'm washing something, then I don't use a soap, which means I can rinse something, and it's kind of, but we've become so energy dependent that we really don't see these things as precious anymore.
In total, we've spent about 3 grand on the solar panels and the wind turbine and the battery pack that's in there, and that's just because people really know what they're doing. Then we've actually just got constant kind of, you've got the power that you need there basically. And it's going up quite high now. Mostly it's usually around this time of year, it's around 25, 26, but because it's so windy today, it's really gone up, which is great because it means we've got loads of power and we can charge stuff.
Because I feel very good about living this way, and I feel that a lot of the anxieties that existed before, career anxieties, financial anxiety, like, because I've chosen to live life a different way, suddenly I've started to question the more fundamental beliefs that I was stories that I was told.
You definitely eat better. Because you're paying less for rent, less for electricity, less for internet. Do you know what I mean? You can afford more nice things.
Yeah, it's perfect. I've quite close to where I need to be. And on the nights that I want to go out in town, I just go and park up down on the seafront, and then it means I can just easily walk back to the house. That's quite a nice thing, just being able to move the house to where you want it to be.
Yeah, loads of freedom, and it's just like, I don't want to be trapped into a capitalist system where I've got to like work my bollocks off like in order to exist, and have very little time left to enjoy my life, and do that till I'm 60, 70, and then be so knackered that I just sort of sit in a chair and watch telly. It all seems very depressing.
But for me, it was always how can I step out of this world that demands so much of me, but doesn't give me anything back. It just demands that I work, and then it wants my money, and then I give it my money, and then I've got no time, and I can't. How can I change things? How can I explore other ways of being if I'm bound to a contract that I have no choice in? So for me, the van's like a breaking of contract.